Hi guys, I'm excited about today's video because I'm talking about Real Techniques brushes. Since some of you have been asking me which ones I recommend or which ones should you go out and buy first, we're talking about all the brushes that I have and also one tool that's not technically a brush, but I gotta give it some love in this video. So let's jump right into it. This is the one that everyone pretty much has or everyone pretty much raves about. This is one of the first ones that I ever got from Real Techniques and it was only a year ago. I picked up 4 from Ulta at first and this is one of them. I love using this to apply my foundation and BB cream. I don't use it so much now because it gives you really full coverage or close to pretty much full coverage because of how dense this brush is. But recently I'm not really going for that full coverage look. I'm really kind of going for more of a light to medium coverage look. But you can use it for so many other things. I sometimes use it to buff in my under eye concealer. It is really good for concealer actually because it's so dense. You really will get that good coverage under your eyes. Another way that I love to apply my BB cream and foundation is this buffing brush. And this comes in their core collection, so you can't get this on its own, I believe. But the core collection comes with 4 brushes, and I think that whole set is worth getting because of this brush. It's a little less dense than the Expert Face brush, so I think that's why I love it so much. Another thing with these brushes is there's no shedding, at least when I've washed my brushes over and over and over again. There has been no shedding whatsoever. They're also all really soft and they're not prickly on the face or anything like that. Since we're on the topic of applying BB cream and liquid foundation, this is why I'm not using the brushes that often. This is what's supposed to rival the Beauty Blender. I have stopped purchasing the Beauty Blender only because the Beauty Blender is $20+. I still love that one the most, but because this is only, I think, $5.99 at Ulta, it's so much more affordable. You kind of go through these a lot because they start to kind of rip and you're supposed to, I think, switch them out every 3 months or so anyway. So you gotta think, like, you can buy almost 4 of these for the price of one Beauty Blender. I think that my foundation applies so beautifully with this. I'm able to get like a nice sheer light to medium coverage with it and it just looks so natural. And I also like the pointy side, kind of like the teardrop look of the Beauty Blender to get in there under my eyes to blend out my under eye concealer. Another way I like to blend out my under eye concealer is the setting brush. I think this is the perfect size to really just blend everything out and also around your face. I usually use that sponge for all of this, but I run it through cleanser every time I use that sponge. So if I don't really feel like doing that, then I'll use the brushes, and this is what I will use for concealer. This is also a good brush for contouring, so if you want to dab it in your bronzer and get a nice line to contour, I think this is good, and also down the sides of your nose if you want to do that. This is a brush that I actually don't use. I believe this comes in the core collection, and if you watched my recent video on the Sonia Kashuk limited edition brushes, I explained that I don't really go for this foundation brush that's kind of like a painter brush. I used to use something like this from Clinique back in the day, like high school. I didn't really wear a lot of makeup in high school. I would say college I was using that, but now I kind of prefer either the flat brushes or buffing brush or the Expert Face brush. And it's super soft, so if you wanted to use it, you definitely can. I think this is kind of like my, if I don't have any brushes left, then I will use this, but it's also really, really tiny. It would be good for concealer. And one of you told me in the comments in the Sonia Kashuk video that it's good to use these kinds of brushes to apply face masks. Genius. That is a good option if you have these brushes and you don't know how to use them. So the next step is pretty much applying powder to set my foundation, and this is one of my favorite brushes from Real Techniques. It's their powder brush. I have 2 of them. I'll show you. So I have 2 of them because they're that amazing. They're just the perfect size. They pick up the right amount of product. They're nice and big so it can really cover your whole face, and I don't know, I think this is one of the best powder brushes I've ever tried. I like to use one for my translucent powder all over my face, and another one I like to use to apply Dim Light by Hourglass. It's one of the ambient lighting powders. I like to kind of get into this part of my face to darken it up a little bit, and I just like having both of them. This is a brush that I also love because I have 3 of them now. So these are the 2 that I currently use, and I have not washed this one yet, but this is a 3rd one, and the shape is so different. So I don't know if it's going to fan out after I wash it, or they change the size or what, but this is also the blush brush. These 2 look the same, and then this is, I don't know. But when I saw this in the packaging, I actually didn't mind. I wanted this because I thought it would be the perfect size to set my under eye concealer with a powder. I like having 2 blush brushes just because I like to use different colors of blush, and I'm not going to have a clean blush brush all the time. So this is kind of the one I use for my pink blushes, as you can tell, and this one's just kind of like for the other ones. And I try not to mix them up too much. This is a really good blush brush because for me, I have a big face, so some people may say that this is too big for blush, but I can get into the apples of my cheeks really well with this brush. You can also use this to powder your entire face. You can use it to apply bronzer. You can use these brushes in so many different ways. That's why I think they're such a good investment. Here's the brush that I use to blend everything out, and it is the Stippling Brush. I sometimes use this to apply really pigmented blush, but otherwise I like to stipple the product all over my face to blend out my bronzer and blend out my blush and all of that. It's an amazing brush. It is super soft, but yet dense enough to get the job done. I like to use this, ironically, not for contouring, but for highlighting. So I like to grab like a Mary Luminizer from the Balm or something and just gently glide it on the top of my cheekbones. Ooh, got some hair. It's the perfect size, in my opinion. Yeah, you can use it for contouring, but like I showed you, have other brushes for contouring. So I like to use this for highlighter. And those are my Real Techniques brushes. So overall, I would say that they're just such a good investment because for about $10 each, or the core collection was I think $17 in the US, they are such good brushes. I like to use these every single day. I think Real Techniques is the way to go if you're starting out your collection of makeup brushes. I like to get them from Ulta because they sometimes do a buy one get one half off, which is a great time to do it, and also their coupons that they always have, so like a $3.50 off $10, buy one get one half off, and then get $3.50 off, and it's a really good deal, so you can slowly build up your collection. Sam and Nick Chapman did such a great job at making these amazing brushes affordable for us. Let me know in the comments which brushes from Real Techniques are your favorites, because I think there are always more for me to try, don't you think? And if you have any other suggestions or requests on other types of review videos you want to see, let me know in the comments as well. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I will see you all again really soon. Bye!